hey, so this movie doesn't come out until September, I think. Hell, it was supposed to come out last fucking year. I think it was made 2 years ago. I have seen this movie before. Like, this is actually my second time seeing this film. And I kind of...
Lucky.
Oh, yeah. It's friend request, by the way. So, backstory on this. Thanks, Matthew, by the way. I had seen this movie before. Oh, Laura's home.
Creeping through the brush with her flashlight.
Yeah. We're at my house, by the way. Anyway, I had actually seen this movie before and kind of forgot about it until you and I were at Phoenix Forgotten, and then the trailer for this movie started, and I didn't recognize it right away. I did about 10-20 seconds into the trailer, and I quickly remembered this and leaned over to you and went, I've seen this before. No, I mean literally, I have seen this movie before.
Because when you started saying that, I was thinking in my head, like, I mean, I guess it does look familiar to other stuff. It's like, I've seen this movie before, like, right? I mean, God, come up with a new script.
No, I mean, this exact movie, I've literally seen before. And it's a piece of shit. So if this does come out in September, we're here early enough to tell you it's a piece of shit. Or I mean, you kind of get that anyway, where on the back of the DVD it says, The Ring for the Snapchat generation. Two things, that sounds terrible. And two, this has fuck all to do with Snapchat. Like, you got that wrong box cover. It has everything to do with Facebook, but not Snapchat.
Well, and it's... Yeah, honestly, if you were going to compare it to anything, wouldn't it be The Ring for the Facebook generation?
Exactly, yeah.
But even then, like, comparing it to The Ring is still a very inaccurate comparison.
This movie, you know, at least Unfriended, which was a movie I didn't like, but I was like, you know what, it tried something. It was trying to be somewhat innovative, something original, trying something different in terms of horror films. It wasn't something that I liked because I didn't particularly care much for the gimmick. If you like the gimmick in that movie, you'd probably like the film.
But yeah, that's a make or break.
Yeah.
It's like if in like the first 5 minutes you're not on board, like that's the whole movie. Like it's not going to change.
No, this movie's a piece of shit. This movie is straight up crap. Like, and so it's, as you can tell, this movie is out on DVD in some other countries. It was made in, or it's a German company that made it. But, I mean, everyone in the movie is, it's a German film, but it's taking place in America, and all of the people in it are American actors. I believe so, anyway. But you notice this during the movie, too, that in a lot of movies like this that are supposed to be somewhere in the States, but are films somewhere else, or they're made in another country. I think a lot of this was filmed in South Africa.
Just flags everywhere. Like
yeah.
If you're not on American soil, but you're supposed to be, like, look, for most movies, if you don't tell me what the location is, I just assume, like, if it's coming out here, and I don't know, maybe that's an inaccurate way to do things, I don't know, but if a movie comes out here in the States and they don't tell me it's anywhere else and no one's talking with an accent, I assume that it's in the States. If a movie came out and a bunch of people were talking with a Southern accent, I would just assume it takes place in the South. Like, I don't need to see, like, you know, like the flag for Alabama in the background on every shot. But for some reason, a lot of times when companies are filming in a foreign country, they'll insist on just putting American flags everywhere in frame so that you're always reminded, like, right, because we're in America.
There's more American flags in this movie than in a Godfrey Ho movie, which it could mean two things. One, like you said, it's something that's filmed somewhere else. Or two, the movie was made after 9/11. It's like when you're watching...
Technically true.
It's like when you're watching a sitcom and like you can tell the episodes that started after 9/11 because like, oh, Joey's wearing like a fire department shirt or something like that.
Yeah.
Or Frasier's got a big flag in the background. Or this episode is Sex in the City and it's zooming in on Carrie's snow globe of the World Trade Center.
That's grim.
Oh, that happened. I didn't just make that up.
Jesus.
So here's what this movie is. It's a lot of things. It starts out like a stalker thriller. It's a girl who everyone's value in this movie is determined by how many friends she has. She has on her Facebook page.
The overall implication of people in this movie's universe is that everything is incredibly shallow.
But it just seems shallow. It doesn't seem satirical in any way.
No, it doesn't seem like it's supposed to like it's not like it's taking some deeper look into the internet generation, like it's men, women, and children or something like that. It's just everybody in this movie is just fucking vain, apparently.
You know where it's going in the first 20 minutes of this, because the first 20 minutes are like a stalker thriller where there's a weird girl in her class, so she's pale and wears a hood, and so she ends up friending her, but then it kind of becomes this stalker film from it. Like, we mentioned this when we were watching it, it should say swim fan for the Snapchat generation. It should be slightly more honest in the first half hour of this movie.
Well, and for me, I really felt that if it had just stuck with that and not gone for all the weird
so would I.
Bullshit.
I would have preferred it being although it would have been really weird for me, and I'll tell you why here in a second. But you know where it's going in the first act, because this movie has a really awkward opening that feels like a studio note, where like it starts with the professor saying that the weird girl has committed suicide.
And that whole scene is in the trailer.
And dude, it kind of like, it took me aback for a second, because yeah, I've seen this, but it's like, I didn't memorize this movie. Like, so when it started out with the opening scene where the teacher's like, Marina has committed suicide.
It's a cold open, like you just walk into that one. Yeah,
dude, at first I was like, okay, is this like a defective DVD or something? And it kind of started a half hour into the movie. No, that's just the opening scene.
We now join our movie already in progress.
Here's why this first half hour, where it's a stalker film where Marina, the weird girl, she's constantly chatting with and writing to the Laura character, the main girl in the movie, and to the point where it becomes uncomfortable, and she's like, I don't want I gotta get this person out of my life because it's just getting weird and kind of dangerous. So, okay, the main girl in the movie, whose name is Laura, looks a little bit like my fiance Laura. A little bit, like enough to where if I said, he was like, oh hey, Laura's the star of this movie, as herself apparently. And you and Letty were like, oh yeah. And the weird girl in the movie looks almost near goddamn identical to an ex-girlfriend of mine. It made the first half hour of this movie so weird on so many goddamn levels.
It's like, I know where this is going already.
Yeah, that was... I kind of forgot about that from when I saw this movie before. But when I saw this movie before, Laura and I weren't together because I saw this maybe like 2 years ago or some shit, or I don't know, year and a half, 2 years ago. I can't fucking remember. That was the last time they saw fucking friend request. So this whole time I'm sitting there like, man, it's like, okay, if she sends you a friend request, look, I'm not saying accept it, but don't unfriend her. Like, good fucking God. Were you thinking that in this?
I wasn't thinking it offhand, but you mentioning it, it's like, oh, yeah.
Right?
You've seen the prequel to this movie.
Yeah, kinda. I can tell you everywhere this fucking movie's going. So, once she unfriends Marina, and you know characters in this are weird because they put spaces in their names on their Facebook page. So it's not just Marina, it's Marina. That actually comes back into play later in it because this movie is that stupid. So Marina kills herself, but it turns out it's part of this ritual where she's now a witch and can possess her profile page, and it seems like maybe she kind of was to begin with, because she's doing weird horror movie fake out dream sequency shit even before she kills herself. Like,
and yeah, that kind of bugged me, because it's like, that made no sense to be happening unless A, she's making her have nightmares about her before they were on bad terms, or B, it's just shitty writing and directing.
It's shitty writing. It's like, we need a jump. Yeah.
Dream sequence fake outs. Like, oh man, we haven't had a horror beat and we're 20 minutes in.
Exactly. And this whole thing is to drive down the number of friends on Laura's Facebook page. And it keeps having this ticker next to her throughout the movie, her friends list going down and down and down, because God forbid. So, but
it's like her fucking health bar or something like that. Practically.
It's ridiculous.
Like, they might as well just keep it at the top, or like do like a ticker at the bottom, like it's fucking CNN.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's so stupid, and for a movie where so many people are dying horribly, it somehow makes that like, wow, you're being really dramatic about this. So like, when Marina kills herself, whenever Marina like is possessing these people and they're all dying rather gruesomely, these videos of them dying are then put on Laura's Facebook page, which is then making her friend list go down, and people commenting like, you're so sick, why would you post this? I thought she was a friend of yours, and bullshit like that over and over again. And it's the same fucking problem that I had with that piece of shit Knock Knock movie from last year or the year before, where it was like, okay, look, if I saw on your Facebook page a snuff film, or like videos that are just people dying, I would never in a million years assume that it's that person posting. Like, I wouldn't assume that you're the one posting that. I
just had a weird day today.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'll throw something up on Twitter about fucking Trump, goddamn Nazis. Go over to Facebook and boom, share from Live Leaks, and I'm gonna make a fucking sandwich from here. I don't know what else.
Yeah, like if Dave caught himself on fire and that ended up on videotape somehow, because it just happens in one of the midnight screenings, I guess. Dave, no, you're covered in gas. I'd rather light myself on fire than review things.
Like 3 or 4 years ago, Dave, when he would smoke during the review.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, look, man,
and if that...
And then I was like, oh, share.
Yeah, if that ended up on your face, like, I would not assume you were the one doing that. I would not assume
Hashtag outtakes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, too hot for TV. Like, oh, ha, ha, he was our friend, damn it.
I don't know if it had really terrible puns on it.
You know what this might be him. I'm gonna keep him on my friends list because of the balls on this guy. So,
but yeah, it's the sort of shit is like, if I saw that, like, and everybody just immediately fucking dogpiles this girl. Like, it's like, the fuck is wrong with you, you dumb bitch? What the fuck? You're sick. Yeah. Delete this account, then yourself. It's like everybody's like throwing shit at her like crazy. And from what we've seen so far in this movie, honestly, it seems like everybody that she has on her friends list is probably just someone she actually knows, instead of like how the internet really works, where you know, like maybe 10-20% of the people on your friend list.
Yeah.
And then it's just people after that.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're all like checking her feed every hour of every day. Like like for me, like if like I get a thing on like my like a notification on my phone, it's like oh, this person tagged you and 57 other people in this. I like I don't even look, because like I fucking know 57 people, so clearly it's nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
But everyone just immediately goes for it. And like, look at it, like, because like after like the cold open, we're then treated to about like 5 minutes of exposition of her entire college life and relationship and friends thus far, through ins and outs of like posts. It's a weird way that they do this sort of like picto-collage thing.
This is all just a really weird way to get back at somebody for unfriending you.
Yeah. Honestly, and did you feel this way though? Like the first act, I mean, while like basically from everything from when they're like Marina just killed herself, to showing everything that happened up until we hit Marina just killed herself again. All of that felt like it was done by a completely different director. It was a completely different movie. Like it felt to me like a series of like 10-minute commercials for something that it just never got to what the product was.
It felt kind of like the first like 10 minutes of The Forest, where it was like really kind of just condensed down, and with that, and I understand shortening a movie like this to about 90 minutes. I get that, but it didn't look like really any effort went into editing it. It was just sort of like edit this, without any rhyme or reason.
Because it cut to her like in the cafeteria, and she runs into Marina like, I thought you were my friend, and then it cuts to Marina, and then back to the main girl, and then to Marina, and then it cuts to the girl on the phone somewhere. Then it cuts to her boyfriend who's doing surgery. Then it cuts back to her, and she's like on a balcony overlooking the city at night. I'm like, where the fuck are we?
Like Michael Mann directed that one shot of her looking over the city. Like, and also it's not, this girl Marina has zero friends. I don't even buy that. Like, there'd be somebody on this campus who would send a girl like this a friend request, especially all of these really intricate animations that she has on her Facebook wall.
I mean, not even counting the fact that, like, she's basically putting up all these, and they're not just, like, short little clips. Like, they're, like short film entry length. Like, animations, and they're very well done. Like,
incredibly well done.
They would definitely get someone noticed. Even the weird shit that she was making somebody would notice that somehow.
Some weird guy would send her a friend request.
I mean, I've been that kid in school before. Weird kids find weird kids. Like, that's how I know everyone that I know now. Weird kids find weird kids. It just fucking happens.
When you were bright and on Facebook.
I always forget that.
The bright and phase.
Well, no, like hell, like even like me and Sarah, like we've known each other since like the first day of college, because we both went to a school that didn't was just out of the norm for both of us, and we were like the two weird kids that like it's like, oh good, well there's somebody it's like, oh thank God someone else is eating cereal for dinner. It's
nice.
Like sort of thing where it's like we should talk and hang out, because clearly we don't have anything in common with like 95% of this campus.
Like if this movie is supposed to be like some kind of morality tale, which I think it is, it doesn't work, because no one in this movie really deserves the shit that happens to him. Like, okay, yeah, Laura unfriended Marina. Yeah, because she was like 100 times crazier than Jennifer Jason Leigh and single white female. Like,
yeah, it was the sort of thing, like, she immediately went from, like, I have no friends, like, oh, you friended me, to just constantly messaging her, like, like, she had, like, the same, like, beginning character arc as, like, Jim Carrey in The Cable Guy, or Joel Edgerton in The Gift.
Yeah. But at least, like, a movie like The Cable Guy is satirical. This movie feels like it could be, but it is so not. Like, there are parts where you could kind of see this working as satire if it had a clever screenwriter or a clever director. Like the scene where the cop just straight up tells her, like, look, just don't go on the internet or open up another page, or just don't use your... He suggests like, deleting her profile.
Yeah, it's like, oh, and if you can't take the video down, just delete your account.
And she has this look on her face like, but all of my friends, my friend list, like...
How will I know about parties and people's birthday?
That is played super straight. There's nothing satirical about that. This movie is played crazy fucking straight.
But even when things don't make sense, like those cops are...
Those fucking cops.
Jesus Christ, like apparently they're like the only movie they've seen where there are police investigating crimes was Last House on the Left.
Well, these people who keep dying, who, again, don't really have fuck all to do with Laura or Marina.
Yeah, if this is a morality play, everyone who dies in this movie dies because of someone else's, not even poor choice or whatever you want to frame it as, like... They're all collateral damage. Like, basically, she tells this girl, like, oh, we're not doing anything for my birthday. I'm just hanging out with my boyfriend. And then her friend posts up some pictures of her out hanging out with her friends. But it's just her and her roommates and, like, their boifriends or something. Yeah. Like, it's just the people that she already lives with. Like, it'd be like if you... Like, if I'm like, oh, hey, what are you doing tonight, man? Like, it's like, oh, nothing. I'm just, I'm just going to hang out at home alone. And then, like, 20 minutes later, like, oh, here's a picture of you, and I can, like, see Laura on the couch. It's like, that fucking liar. He said alone.
Unfriended. You set yourself on fire and get haunted by your ghost, and Dave dies. Yeah, and so these people don't have fuck all to do with all this, but it's clear that, like, one guy has his head fucking bashed in, one girl, like, cuts her own throat. These deaths are pretty extreme. No one in their right fucking mind would think that this Laura girl has anything to do with...
The cops are investigating every single one of these as a homicide, even though each one is filmed and put on her Facebook page.
Yeah.
So they're still wanting to believe that, like, it's like, yeah, a lot of dead bodies are piling up around you. The only thing in common is you. It's like, yeah, she's friends with all of them. All these people who have committed suicide on film.
And she doesn't have the strength to do some of these either. Like, in physical strength to cave that one guy's fucking head in and all of that shit. Man, this movie is just fucking dumb. Even because you can see where this movie, you can literally see where it's going, because they have the little ticker friend count on the screen, like her losing friends as the movie goes along, because, and so it's like, okay, well, by the end, she's gonna have 0 friends, and that'll be, like, the end of this quote-unquote morality tale. Now she's alone, now she has no friends. But no, it even fucks that up like fucking Unfriended did, because this Marina girl, when it gets to the actual end of the movie, now the last thing in the movie is Laura, now pale, with a hood on, sitting by herself with her Facebook page up, and now it says Laura, 'cause cute. Laura actually really loved that part, by the way. But like,
it's like, I'm gonna start doing that with my
yeah. So now in describing that would be like, okay, now she has become what this Marina girl was, even though she didn't fucking deserve that. But no, it doesn't, because what happens before then is Marina possesses her. Like, they do the scary face jump scare thing. Usually be the last frame of a movie like this.
Yeah, I thought that was the last frame. Because after all the deaths in this, it fades to white, and after that one, it faded to black.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, oh, well, that was a quick end.
So scary face, and then Marina has now possessed Laura. Why? Really? Like, fucking why and all of this? Like, what? And now what does it fucking matter if Laura doesn't have any friends or not? She's possessed.
And it's such an ambiguous ending with that. Like, we had to fucking look it up online to see, like, what's the consensus? Is she possessed?
Uh-huh.
Because she's sitting there, like, she's got, like, her profile page set up like Marina's. And I think she's even using her laptop. And it's like sitting there, like, so is she acting like her? Like, this is like some part of it now, or like she has to pass on this whole thing? Like, is that a thing now, or like, is she possessed? Like, you just gave us nothing to work with. But yeah, but it's basically the ending to Urban Legend.
Oh yeah.
Or it's like, finally we killed Rebecca Greyhart. Except, oops, she just went to a different school now.
This movie's like Nightmare on Elm Street. If like Freddy wasn't like a child killer, he just, I don't know, kept to himself, and then one of the kids tripped him on the sidewalk, so he decided to get revenge by killing other kids. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's like he tried to, like, scold a kid, and he's like, "You're not my dad," and he's like, "You're all my children now."
Yeah. This seems a little dramatic.
Nope, gotta kill all the kids.
All right. Jesus. Man, look, even though this comes out next month, even though I've seen the trailer for this a few times within the past couple of months, I still don't know whether or not to believe this is a thing that's actually coming to theaters in Springfield. Like, I mean, Kidnap eventually came out, so I guess Friend Request has a fucking chance of actually being shown theatrically in Springfield.
But yeah, at this point, like, I mean, even just quality-wise, like, I mean, it seems like something that should just go straight to, like, the video store and just call it a day.
Just, yeah, exactly. That's exactly the kind of movie that this is. I don't know. Instead of, I mean, yeah, I mean, we were laughing at it and whatnot, and we were cracking jokes in the movie, so it's certainly serviceable in that regard.
Oh, it's a very riffable movie.
Yeah, it is. If you want to see something that's... I actually really like Fear.com, honestly. I liked it when it came out. I thought it was a pretty well fucking made, rather pretty looking movie, and kind of creepy too. And now that there's movies like this that are out, you goddamn right I like Fear.com.
It's like, as far as internet ghost stories go.
Yeah. This movie seems like it's like, this movie does kind of seem like it's a shitty remake of a Japanese movie, but I don't think it is.
That's almost worse. Is like, it's not even an actual shitty remake of something. It just feels like there should have been a better movie that someone already did based on this. It's
called a couple different, I think originally this movie in its original country, it's called Unfriend, but because over there the movie Unfriended is called something else, so they called it Unfriend. So here it's Operation Condor. Like, it's Friend Request, which honestly either of those titles makes sense. It's not like one of them is like, what? It's called that? Like, no, it makes sense.
Caligula reincarnated as the internet.
Yeah. What the fuck? This is well after Caligula died.
But it's bugging me, the fact that on the logo here, it's like the Facebook F design there. But in the actual movie, and it's clearly supposed to be Facebook. Like, I know a lot of movies that, like, it's like, oh, here's friend page or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, to, like, work around it, and, like, the logos are green instead of blue or something like
Face
that.
space.
Yeah, like, there's always, like, some, like fake sounding thing that everyone's using.
Mm-hmm.
Like how everyone in movies is still using, like Webster web crawler or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, that one's really taken off in the fictitious universe of movies. It's a strong IP. But it's definitely the Facebook F, but all of the logos on all of the pages have been removed in the movie, so it never actually says Facebook. Mm-hmm. But then a couple times when they're looking at, like, other, like, sites, it'll have, like, oh, like, click here to share, and it's, like, the little buttons on there for, you know, like Reddit and Twitter, and, like, Facebook is one of them that's listed. I'm like, well, okay, so you can use that style of logo in the title, and you're showing it on other pages, but when it's actually them using Facebook, it never shows that it's Facebook. Like,
that costs extra.
Yeah, it's like, if it's in the scene incidentally, okay, but if you're focusing on it, that's a hard line no.
I'm just more weirded at that it feels weird doing one of these reviews for a movie that hasn't come out yet, and I'm holding the fucking DVD for it in my hand. Again, special thanks to Matthew Buck who gave me this.
Yeah, thanks.
Now we're possessed. It's like the budget of this movie went to that scene where all of the fucking computer screens are coming up. There's no rhyme or reason to what the fuck evil Marina can possess in
everything.
This.
Apparently, she has to be doing stuff with computers, but then she also just shows up in real life, or, like, just a swarm of bees will show up. Like,
and one guy's ripped apart by bees like it's sleepaway camp.
Like, it's just, she apparently, like, after killing herself and falling into the computer, just became completely omnipotent.
All of this movie would be so short if the character was just like, all right, I'm just going to stay off the internet for a while. Then she wouldn't know anything else that's really going on. Like, her lettering wouldn't be freaking out, like turning into wingdings all of a sudden, which means it's possessed. And
it's her. She's in the code.
Yeah. That's not what code looks like. Yeah, it's one of those movies. So yeah, if the main character just fucking stayed away from the computer for a little bit, because yeah, they write it in, she can't delete her profile or anything like that, but if she just stayed away from computers, I really don't think anything would have happened. And again, if this was kind of a dark comedy, that could have worked. Like, she's so addicted to social media.
Well, but that's what kind of reminds me, like, some of the stuff with, like Pulse. Like, as long as you're somewhere that's, like, internet capable, like, you were within range of, like, the stuff that was going on with it. But, because even, like, the one friend, she's like, shuts off her laptop, shuts off her, like, unplugs, like, her wall phone, turns off her cell phone, like, puts everything in a box and hides it. But then just, like, pages of code just start printing out of her printer.
Yeah. And it's all, like, animated to...
Yeah, it's still squiggling around between letters and, like, wingding fonts.
Mm-hmm. Dumb witch has no rules. Any final thoughts about this?
If you are curious at all about this, it's already out there. You can watch this. Like, like the fact that there's a physical copy already, just grab a torrent of this and watch it with some friends. Have a laugh, because
you'll get a laugh out of it.
Yeah, it's good for one of those, but
don't see this in theaters.
Oh, yeah, God, no. Especially after this. Like, we were giving you so much forewarning.
Yeah.
There's no reason whatsoever to go to a theater to see this.
Yeah, no, not at all.
It's a thin plot. It's it's just a disjointed kind of movie. It feels it's all over the place tonally. Like I said, like the first half of it felt like just commercials that eventually would get to like, you know, trying to sell you on like just odd shit, like, you know, like, oh, here's all these people hanging around having drinks and cocktails. It's so much fun. It's somebody's birthday. They're clicking pictures. Levi's. You know, it's like the whole front end of this thing feels like it's that. It's like, that's why I was wondering. I'm like, it's like if like the director, like if it's one of those things where, you know, look on like his IMDb and it's like, oh, he's known for doing these 5 music videos. It's like, there it is. He's just doing things in like 3-minute spurts.
I mean, I'm surprised that they made this with an R. Like, I mean, it is an R, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say it's a hard R, but it's definitely an R.
It does enough to warrant an R.
Yeah,
and then it stops there.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly an R, but...
it's like going to a swimming pool and just putting your legs in. It's like, yeah, technically you went to the pool.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm surprised they did that. This seems like the kind of movie that would be a PG-13. It does. Like hardcore. I'm really surprised they wasted an R on this. I mean, but they did. I mean, it does have some pretty bloody parts in the movie, surprisingly, given this kind of film. But
that makes it even more mystifying to me is that the fact that it's had such a delayed release to come out here, you'd almost figure that they would want to, like, water it down a little bit just so it could hit a wider audience.
I'm surprised they have, because it's a stupid-ass movie. Like, this is a movie made for 13-year-olds. It is. Don't get me wrong, I respect the fact it's an R. I do.
I respect 13-year-olds.
I have the utmost respect for 13-year-olds. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, fine, yeah, make this with an R. Cool, great. It's a dumb shit fucking movie that's made for the same crowd that shit their pants over the Bye Bye Man.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe when this comes out next month, maybe it will be edited down to a PG-13.
Because that's almost what I was wondering. I'm like, it's like the only reason I could see them wanting to keep an R on this thing is if it's going to be if it's like a late September, like last week of September.
I think it is. It's sometime in September, I think.
That's the only thing I could think is like if it was releasing right next to like October, so it could be like, oh well, you know, like here's a bunch of PG-13 horror films for October, but here's an R-rated.
Well, we are getting Jigsaw in October this year, and Happy Death Day, a PG-13 slasher film. Because fuck you.
They used all the blood that they would let them have in the title shot in the trailer.
on the cake, yeah. Well, if you're watching this, I'm now in Chicago for Wizard World. I don't...
You're now in Chicago because you've possessed somebody else.
Oh, yeah, someone in Chicago unfriended me. I can't have that.
Gotta go kill all your friends.
So
this is how we roll.
This is just what we do now. So I don't know what comes out. I don't know what comes out next week. I mean, Dave and I, I'm sure, are going to see that John Corbett religious movie that's coming out to theaters here soon.
Fun.
Yeah, Farmers Only the movie. See it.